Shop smart, shop S-Mart.
Oh, here we go.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of New Book Who Dis.
I'm your host, DeathMetalHero, and with me is first-time guest on New Book Who Dis with a brand new book, SHADOWPUNK. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I have a surprise for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a radical. I did that to my hair. This is my Mohawk tribute to you.
Yes.
And
Love it.
You know,
Love it.
I was gonna go blue, but I figured acrylic paint might not come out.
It will take a lot, and it'll definitely strip your hair down.
Really?
So yeah. Yeah, because you're gonna have to use paint thinner to pull the paint out, and it'll absolutely strip the oils out of your hair and would damage your hair. But I appreciate the tribute, man. I'm all about the Mohawks.
I am radical at heart, but I'm not that guy. Okay.
See, the Mohawk for me started when I left my corporate job. Like, I wasn't allowed to have any kind of like different out there hair. And as soon as I stopped working that corporate job, I shaved the sides of my head and put it into a Mohawk and eventually dyed it blue. Now, I mean, I'm sure you've seen the pictures. My picture, my profile picture online is my Mohawk, and it's about a foot tall now off the top of my head. You can ask my girlfriend, Flying Feline. It makes it kind of difficult to dry. I literally have to like lean to the side and drive when we go somewhere.
That's
like when we went to
cool.
Heroes Con. Yeah, it's bordering on the ridiculous, but I fucking love it, man. It's been a part of me for over 10 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I used to go in school. I was, and my buddy was the opposite. He was Misfits. And he was into that. Yeah, he was totally hardcore, right? And
Right.
he had a Mohawk, and he would dark trench coat. And I was like, I got my books, man. Let's go. And so it was funny to see us together, And how long did it take you to go, I'm not doing that job anymore?
Well, I kind of was able to just quit because I was helping my mom take care of my grandfather. Then my dad got sick, and I was helping take care of him. And then my other grandfather, and now I'm helping take care of my grandmother. So it's just kind of been one of those things. I just, I'm needed to help take care of the family, and it allows me to, do this thing and have my hair how I like
That's
it.
cool.
Yeah. So it works out.
I did that for maybe a decade, maybe 12 years or something.
Yeah.
Longer. And you ever see that interview with George Harrison? And not interview, but there's George Harrison and Paul McCartney are sitting there, and George is like, I'll play whatever you want me to play, or I won't play. Whatever you want, that's okay. I'll do whatever you want. That was me eventually.
Heck yeah.
They would say, with the wrong color blue. Oh no, it's got to be super digital now instead of super tough, right? And that took you, and I'm like, okay, my eyes are like this. I'm like, this is, I can't, So I mean, it really is one of those things, man. Creative people, once you get it's great in the beginning, and once you get underneath them, and you say, just make it that way, it's a matter of time,
right? And it really is. Once creative people start feeling like their creativity is not appreciated, and this was happening at my corporate job. I was doing IT work for a company that sold evidence tracking software to police departments. So I was doing tech support, but I was also the graphic designer because the guy who ran the company thought that he was a graphic designer, and all of the stuff that he did was absolutely terrible. And I had to tell him that and show him what it could be. And I completely revamped the look of the company and the product. And yeah, we sold more after that. but that artsy fartsy shit is what he called it. So it's just like, okay,
It's
I can
always
see you very much take me seriously. I appreciate that, John. Thank you.
a guy like that is almost gonna do damage.
Yeah,
Where you're like, it's better that he's like, oh, that's really cool. What's next?
yeah,
That's not going to happen. Once they know how to do whatever, it's
yeah.
like hey, I was talking to my wife the other day, and she thought it'd be cool if we put the cat in the thing, or something. You're just like, dude, what's happening here?
Oh yeah, yeah. I did T-shirts for a company here in town as well, and so constantly getting the oh well, can you do this instead? And you want to be like, it's dumb. Why? No. Why? Why do you want that? But okay, you're the client. You're paying for what's getting done, so I guess I have to at least try it. And you again, to you, it looks dumb as hell. And you try to get that across. And the thing that you make kind of almost intentionally look dumb because you want to get across that it's dumb, they absolutely love. And it looks exactly like what they want. And you're just like, fuck me. You weren't supposed to pick that.
You know what? That is a nightmare incarnate. And there's also a thing. Let's just say you and I did a project, right? We're both creative people, and the idea is to make it digital, a digital thing or whatever, right?
Right.
So we will come back with different ideas of what digital means. I think it means a matrix, and you think it means tracking software, right? So like even with two people that have are going to make it work, there's always that kind of discrepancies where you have to really juggle with people. No, I meant the other thing.
Well, that's where communication is key. Being able to communicate your ideas clearly and concisely. Get the idea across to somebody.
And it's a thing you learn over time. I'm sure. Like you go, okay, like if somebody says, "Want to do a '90s book that's really fucking wild," and then you're thinking McFarlane,
right?
And so you're gonna say, we're talking about like a McFarlane thing, right? Because now that
like McFarlane or Sylvester or something like that. Like out there, bold lines. Yeah.
Yes. It's really tricky stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And people have look at music. People have such different ideas about what they like.
Oh yes,
they're all valid. But it's like, not to be absurd, but okay, like thrash metal and Barry Manilow, you're going to have to accept that people are going to like both. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
So the lady in the car with the Barry Manilow, it's going to be what it is.
Yeah, and then there's those crazy mashups that people do online now. They'll take like a Barry Manilow and some kind of thrash and they'll mix it together. And I mean AI now with music, taken what was it? I think Shelby sent me Slipknot as like a lounge act, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Why? I'm not sure whether or not this makes me like AI more or hate it more.
It's changing everything, and I'll give you a really good example. I spent. I'm not segueing, by the way. But I'm just my point. I made the figures, the statues for my campaign, right? So I can give those away for free.
Right.
So it's gonna be scan the image of your favorite thing, and they're gonna print it for you. It'll be 3D just based on the one image you give them.
Right.
So my skills, say, as a 3D artist are. And obviously you see the 2D stuff, right? I mean,
right.
This is just today. So I don't know. I mean, to me, it's all about people making their cool thing, and people going, a person made that. Right?
Yes.
To me, that is a big deal.
It is to me as well. I just finished a commission for a band in South Carolina called the Grim Valley Ghouls, and it was all hand drawn traditionally, and ink on paper. There is something about ink on paper that I love. That real feeling. And I've done some 3D as well. I was actually going to school to do like 3D modeling for video games. I thought I wanted to work in video games, do concept artwork and all that jazz. I realized I didn't want to push and pull, like, vertices and pixels and stuff like that. I wanted to do the concept art, and the school that I was going to, Full Sail, I stopped going because they sent me a link to go check out YouTube videos for sculpting.
Okay.
I was like, I'm paying you this much money to learn how to do this stuff, and you're sending me to YouTube to go. I could go to YouTube for free and learn this. Why am I paying you guys?
Yes.
So yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm just gonna stop, and that way I didn't end up $100,000 in debt.
I will say this. So I went to art school in the 90s. The 90s. And when I got out, I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
and the way they taught us wasn't the way that I needed to learn.
Right.
I needed to know the ins and outs of watercolor.
Right.
And so, this is how you don't fuck it up. This is how, and I needed to know all that with all the mediums, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't do that. So when I got out, I had to learn on my own. And by the way, I kind of think that all artists end up doing that anyway.
Yeah.
They can't.
Hands-on is the best way to learn. Absolutely.
So years later, when I started doing 3D, I did it just for fun. Because
heck yeah.
I was making hero clicks.
Dude, I love HeroClix.
They're awesome.
I made my own custom HeroClix. I worked at a comic shop up in New Hampshire, and so we would have like a bin of loose HeroClix that people would come in and buy, and sometimes they would get broken. So I would get the damaged pieces. So I'd have like little baggies of like arms and guns and stuff like that. Yeah. And I put together a Blade, a Deadpool, a Lion-O, a Punisher, all before they did any of that stuff.
A Lion-O, huh?
Oh yeah, Lion-O. We also sold Mage Knight, so I had like a sword from Mage Knight in like I think it was a saber tooth that had gotten broken.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I painted them up, and I still have them somewhere. But yeah, I did Deadpool. I even did a dial for Deadpool long before they actually did a Deadpool figure. I did King Mob from Invisibles. Yeah, man, I fucking loved HeroClix.
So I'll just quickly tell you my super quick HeroClix story. So I did do that, and I got into it. And 10 years later, I'm making like these crazy ones, right?
Yeah.
But in between that, I was playing HeroClix with my nephews for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Right. And they were like this, and then they're tall. So for Christmas, I would make them really coveted characters.
Yeah.
So I would, and they don't know that this costs you $300 on eBay. Right.
Right.
So I would make them to chase Thanos. Or like they have like the ultra rare Superman who's a game changer, right?
What was it? Our World's at War Superman or something like that?
Later on they made another one called Superman Prime.
Oh, okay.
He was an ultra chase.
Yeah. Okay.
And
gotcha.
So he was like what the fuck? You're just like, and you've played, so that when you build teams, you're like, I got my killer team, and my Sabretooth and my Dr. Doom, and then he shows up and it's over.
Exactly, because like you can't do anything against him. He's like a 300-point team all on his own.
And he had a thing where he could use I don't know if you remember this, probability control.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is Superman.
This is a pain in the ass.
This isn't Scarlet Witch, okay?
Right.
But they had to give it to him, and he could do it twice around. So
twice around, Jesus.
So you're kind of like, I made it for you.
And
then now look what's happening to me.
And now you're using it against me, you little bastards.
Yeah.
I feel your pain, man.
Hey, Feline. Hey, guys. I see everybody.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say hi to the chat. We got Omen screaming, Raven, hail to the most glorious chat. Skull. Well, Skull, brother, thank you for being here. And there's my beautiful, gorgeous lady, Skull, baby. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for dropping links in the chat. She's already dropping the links to Shadowpunk Inferno on Fund My Comic. I love to see that you're using Fund My Comic. We're going to talk about that as well. Luke Stone's a friend. Love that dude. He's the light Luke. I'm the dark Luke because I listen to death metal.
Yes.
Yeah. We got Eric the Guapo throwing shade. Late again. Listen, show up, win. We mean to. Never late, never early, right on time, all the time. Yes, yep. Right. The Magnificent Hawk. Yes, I love my mohawk. And longer than that, yes, my mohawk is getting obscenely long. That is true. Eric is. I'm guessing he's jealous of my height because he's always trying to make it sound like I'm a lot shorter than I am. I'm 6'2" without my mohawk up. And the mohawk is at least a foot tall, so add
so
to the addition.
Are you Scandinavian then?
Yes.
So when you say, because I was wondering that. So when you say skull,
yeah,
I'm not Scandinavian. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm 5'7", right? But that's something. There you go.
Yeah. My dad's side of the family is Scotch, Irish, German, and Danish, and then on my mom's side, it's Northern Italian and German.
Oh, wow.
So likely more Hessian than anything else, but yes, there is Scandinavian in there as well.
If you're that tall, you can just say, "I'm hardcore. I'm a fucking Viking" or something.
Well, I call myself an Italian Viking because my family's from northern Italy, near the Swiss Alps. So I'm sure there's some Swiss in there as well. So he says, "Yeah, Luke's 5'5" when the mohawk is up." And Feline says, "No, that would be Jason, Eric, because my co-host on Topic was Jason. He's a wee little dude."
Right. Is he?
Yeah. He is. He's like 5'7" or something like that.
Dude, I want to be a porn director. Just putting that in there is kind of like rubbing it in.
Right? Was a porn director that didn't appreciate my creativity either. Yeah, I'm sure they didn't, Pale Rider. What's up, Pale Rider? Good to see you, sir. Thank you for being here. Listen to the Wise Feline. Hit that like button. Share, subscribe. Also, hit the link and go get yourself a copy of Shadowpunk. So this is actually the launch. Oh, yeah. That is dope. Hold that up again. Fuck yeah, Death Dealer.
Yep.
Oh, dude, that is awesome.
So maybe you don't know. I'm going to just go over it super quick.
What's up, Matt?
So, because I flubbed my launch.
What a big kick.
When you back the book up until Friday, one person that backs is going to win this for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. And I'm also giving away, on the campaign, there's a cyber frog on the chopper.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a judge.
Nice.
Friend. So I was just going to do this one on the launch. And then when I screwed it up, I was like, I got to make it up somehow.
Man, that is epic. All right, guys. So go ahead and hit that link that Feline has dropped in the chat so you can get and back the book so you get a chance to win that badassness. Look at that. Holy shit, dude. That is fucking awesome.
Yeah. That chainmail is all done by hand because it looked better to do it that way.
Heck yeah, man.
And my camera is low res, so my internet's good, but
there's pictures on the campaign, and we'll get to those. Yeah, that is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I hope you. So I hope somebody wins it, and I hope that the person who wins it is a Frazetta fan.
Heck yeah. Feline says that's fire. Matt says Jason equals Gimli. Yes, he is about the size of Gimli. Mr. Michael Bancroft, what's up, sir? He says backed.
He did. He wants it big time, and I hope he gets it.
Heck yeah, man. Well, I backed it about an hour ago, he says. Well, good. That puts you in the running already. That puts you ahead of everybody else that might back now.
You know what? And he's been reading a bunch of CG books every day.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm really proud of my book. The first issue I thought came out really good. And it was the first one I've ever done.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. I love hearing that.
So this is the second one, and it's way better. And so he's going to get both, and I hope that he enjoys it.
Excellent. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where the idea for the book came from? What inspired this book?
Well, a lot of these things start with vague ideas.
Oh yeah.
Then they come down to the thing that you really it needs to be.
Yeah.
Right. It started
They
with
get refined.
it started with a photo of my mother when she was a kid, and I saw her and I was like, she is such a rascal. Right? You can see it on her face. You know, kids are looking one way.
What up, Ray?
You know, so it was that kind of started it, and I did the animated movie,
Yeah.
and so I was going to do what you wanted to do, which is do video games and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then when all the kerfuffles happened, I was like, I'm not going anywhere, you know. So I'm going to do a comic, I think,
Yeah.
you know. And it was crazy to think that I could do it, which I could do it, but
Right.
it had been a long time since I had done things like that. So punk rock is a facet of the book. That's
Fuck
why
yeah.
it's called Shadowpunk. There's no clubs in the city she lives in.
Right.
But I wanted to make something that was inspired by like 70s and 80s punk rockers. And that's where I got
Heck
the
yeah,
design
man.
from her stuff. She has a
Yeah.
mohawk and spikes.
Yeah. The spiked gloves and stuff. I love it, man.
And it really it's kind of a dark book. I was saying to Michael the other day, it looks like a all ages book, and
Right.
and then all of a sudden it goes dark. Like things happen once in a while where it's a little bit, edgy. So
Right.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it's a dystopian story. It takes place in a dystopia. So I mean, the
yes.
tendency towards dark is kind of built into the fabric of a dystopian story. It's not all peachy keen. I mean, look at Mad Max. That's a
Right.
dystopia. That's a dark story,
You know what? That is totally true. And that one guy, Vernon Wells, who's the
Mhm.
guy who has a mohawk,
Yeah.
I'm totally, because I'm going to tell you something. When I went years ago, when I went to design her, I
Mhm.
was looking for influences and finding things that were not made by fashion designers on purpose
Mhm.
that look punk rock was a challenge.
Right.
Like finding photos of real people, like say somebody that we have your mohawk or whatever.
Yeah.
And so something like Mad Max is the master class of that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Even if it isn't punk rock, it's so edgy and fucking freaky that
Mhm.
that stuff is there anyway.
It's got a unique design aesthetic,
Yeah.
and the thing about punk rock, especially when it comes to the fashion, is that they were using and wearing whatever they could fucking find, whatever they could get their hands on. They wanted to look different. They would they use egg whites to put their hair up, shit like that. They use safety pins to fucking hold clothes together.
Yes.
They put
yeah.
spikes on stuff because don't fucking touch me. And so it was that fucking brash attitude, and they didn't give two shits what you thought about their clothes, because they were dressing how they wanted to fucking dress. That was the whole point of putting color in your hair as well. It was different, spikes out, Liberty spikes, mohawks, all that fun stuff. And then once it kind of became like the mainstream, oh, this is cool, then it kind of lost that DIY luster. You know what I mean? It lost that edge.
And
the edge got blunted because now you could just go buy stuff that was pinned together from the fucking clothing manufacturer. Like Hot Topic. That's what they did with my beloved metal look.
Well, and then it also, I know that the Clash isn't really metal, okay, especially for someone like you.
The Clash is definitely punk. They're London punk. Yeah.
So, but the second you go, okay, it's
London Calling,
it's
man.
in a Cadillac commercial. You're
right.
Like, it's over. The fight is over. We have to come up with something new.
Yeah.
Everything gets co-opted.
Yeah, unfortunately, once it becomes popular, it does indeed.
Yeah,
I mean, look at superheroes now. Superheroes for the longest time growing up, like it was not fucking cool to read comics. Hell, it was barely cool to play video games when I was a kid. But you get called a fucking nerd, and I was the portly kid with the glasses and read my comics and I did my drawings and stuff like that, and I was nerd. But I mean, it's something that I always loved, and now superheroes are big business, because the nerds grew up and got decent jobs, and so they could buy shit. And so as soon as that happens, as soon as corporate America realizes that, they kind of jump on it. But that is why I love indie comics, because indie comics is DIY or die, and it always has been.
Yes.
Michael Bancroft says chicks were not impressed that you read comics in the 90s. No, they were not, Michael. They weren't impressed that you knew a bunch about Star Wars, or could beat Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, or anything like that. They didn't give a fuck.
The best part, though, is that today they will go, no, not really.
Yo, what's up, Hex?
Right?
You,
and
man.
they'll try to convince you that wasn't true. Or they'll say, well, no one ever told me. I'm like, bullshit. You thought it was gay, and you said you were nerds for doing it, and now it's totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever, just fucking say it,
Well, see, now we got like the Call of Duty bros, and everybody plays video games now. Video games is even bigger business than comics were, and even bigger business than movies are now.
Huge.
It's insane to see, and it happened in 40 short years, something like that. I mean, video games really started taking off in the 70s with Atari, ColecoVision, all that stuff, for the home consoles. And then Atari fucking crashed the market in 83 with E.T. And oh yeah, did you never heard about that?
No.
E.T. So E.T. was coming out, and they wanted to make a video game based on it, and they gave them like 7 months to make a game, and it was literally like the worst game ever made for the Atari, and parents were so pissed off at the company for making this game and putting it out that they started bringing it back, and stores stopped carrying Atari shit because of it. There was literally like a landfill full of like unsold and returned ET cartridges. It's still held to the standard of it's like the worst game ever made to this day, and it crashed the video game market in 83 here, at least here in America.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
Because the reason why that happened is not because video games stink. It's because somebody said, just do it.
Mm-hmm. Just get it done.
Just get it done.
Yeah, just get it done. So. What's up, Ms. Good Stuff? Thank you for joining us. Good to see you. We got a Rick Saylor in the chat as well. What's up, Rick? The only thing more dorky is if you play Pokemon or rollerbladed. I did not. I totally missed the boat on Pokemon, and I dodged Magic the Gathering as well. But I did have rollerblades. In fact, I would rollerblade down to the comic shop when I worked downtown. I don't know, man. It was easier than trying to skateboard. Every time I tried to skateboard, I would damn near break my ankle. So
there's a thing. Hey, Rick. There's a thing where people like us are into something when we're a certain age,
right?
And then we kind of get out of it for a while, right? We're like, you're not reading the comics for a few years or something, or you don't like D&D anymore, or whatever,
right?
And then you come back, and so there's a chunk that you miss. Like I kind of miss the image stuff. I was kind of and I know it very well now, but but it was one of those things where I was like, I don't, this is, and Game of Thrones is like that for me. You can shoot me now, because I gave my life to Tolkien as a young man, and so when Game of Thrones came around, I was like, I can't go do that. It's over.
So I will say this: the TV series was really enjoyable right up until like I don't know. Final 2/3 of the 7th season, and then the 8th season, they might as well not have even bothered. It was fucking terrible.
Really?
Like they just tanked the ending of it because they ran out of book. They ran out of source material to pull from George R.R. Martin, and Martin is not good at writing heroic characters, so I don't think we're ever going to see an end to that series that's going to be satisfactory to anybody, and I think he knows it. I think that's why he's not going to bother,
right?
Because I mean, the series ended on such a downer, like sour note, and it felt rushed. Phelan and I were watching it, and we were both like, "What the fuck happened?"
My brother, who's not like us, He
not an Uber nerd.
not at all, and he watched it big time,
Yeah.
right? And so he had the same thing you just said. It was like, when you hear your brother say that, and you're like, this
Mhm.
is it can't, because I watched the first 2 seasons,
Right.
and I thought, oh, this is not bad. I
Mhm.
get it, I get the things, and and I'm just like, but it was one of those things for me. It was like I've already bought that pizza. I had the pineapple. I got
Right.
so and no, I see the dragons are kick ass and all that stuff, But it was just like, and I know I can't deny it, but
Right.
yeah,
Well, unfortunately for every fantasy writer out there, Tolkien did it like first and did it really fucking well. He
yeah,
set the standard, like the gold standard, and there are very few books that even come close. I love The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, but I also love the Chronicles of Narnia. The Chronicles of Narnia actually is what like sparked a love of reading in me.
really,
Yeah. I discovered the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe at the school library just because it had a neat kind of like old school like 70s artwork on the cover, and I thought it was cool, and I started reading it, and it was so well done. It was this adventure, and they were kids my age, and I
yeah,
just really loved it. And I came home and I was telling my mom about it. I was like, "Oh, this book is great. I wish there were more of them. I don't, this is awesome." And so she just kind of smiles because my mom's always been a big reader. She goes into her room and she comes out with this box set of the Chronicles of Narnia,
uh,
and she was going to give it to me for Christmas that year. She was going to introduce it to me, but or introduce me to it, but I found it ahead of time, and so
yeah,
she just gave me the box set ahead of time, and I just devoured those books. I still have that box set to this day.
that's
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, I even have another box set with all the books in one big volume, and then all 7 books as audiobooks. And Patrick Stewart reads The Last Battle.
Really.
Oh yeah, it's so awesome.
So we all make our books and tell our stories.
Hmm.
We all love doing it, and but you do break it down when you do these kinds of things,
Yeah,
into like what is effective to get the reader in uh, uh, interested in your story and the character's story.
yeah,
And Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, like you go, fuck, the fucking
right.
wardrobe, fuck, that's like awesome. And the
Hmm.
whole thing is just like you really can't conceive, like unlike Tolkien, Tolkien doesn't have that. You don't walk into the world and now
Right.
that's a totally different ballgame, and it's like so damn good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, he must have been razor sharp or something, I mean,
Well, Tolkien said that he was trying to create a lore for his people. He was trying to create an epic lore, and it was inspired by the anxiety that he had while being in World War One. You know,
well, if you do ever read the Silmarillion, and I'm not going to talk about it because it goes on forever. Um, when I okay,
I've read bits and pieces of it. I when I was younger, I found it very dry.
it's like reading Greek mythology. It's not like a narrative like Lord of the Rings,
Right.
but you end up. So when I watched that Rings of Power series with all its blazing flaws,
Right.
like to me, and I'm watching it and I'm like, um, I see the things I always envisioned, minus all
Right.
the stupid agendas. So I still watch it,
Hmm.
even if it like I like that girl as Galadriel, even though people hate her guts, they want to jump on her guts and all that, So um, anyway, and so
Yeah.
the campaign. By the way, I put these little gifs in here with the animated star.
I see that. That's pretty
Yeah,
fucking cool, man.
I had a fun time doing that, and Michael made me cry because he didn't notice them, you know. Uh, but nobody in the launch noticed it. They said, "Look at that thing." But
Dude, I was noticing that as I was going through, earlier today, setting up the stream. Bancroft says he likes large epics like Dune and Foundation. I have read the first Dune book and I really enjoyed it.
yeah,
It was actually a full cast, but unabridged audio book. So it was the full, the full text of the book, but it was a full cast as well. And he says, Lord of the Rings is not high concept at all. It's written to be real, lived in world, no gimmicks. Exactly. It's just real. And grounded lore, for the British people. And that's what he created it for. What's up, Rushbrook? Good to see you, sir. Thank you for coming to hang out. Michael says he was distracted by all the API Stripe errors.
Totally. They were like shooting him like this. And everybody's like, what the hell, Michael? And
so they were blaming him for the fact that they couldn't buy the book.
But he was under the gun because it was his show, right?
Right.
So just so Michael knows, and I want to so I flubbed it. Michael. There was some Stripe wanted more from me, and I didn't know that. And so, there was a giant shiny button that said, if you miss this, you're stupid. And I missed it. So that's why it worked out the way it did. And I set it up this morning, obviously, and it's fine. But
now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Let's go ahead and take a quick look at your trailer here.
Yes.
Dig it. Right on, man.
So
dig that
animation,
the
fire and everything, I made all of that in 3D. It's not AI.
Okay.
So, because my background is in motion graphics, so I still have Fume FX on my 3D program, and it's not like plug and play. It's very like you got to get in there and do crazy shit.
Right, you've actually got to create it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was fun to make, and I think it took me like 7 or 8 days to make it.
That's a good trailer, man, and I dig the music you put in the background.
Yes.
Death metal is my favorite genre of music, but I like lots of different music, and I've found myself listening to a lot of synth wave and retro wave and dark wave and stuff like that.
So I am the least music connoisseur person in the planet. I'm really milquetoast, but I do like that too. I'm like, this is fucking cool, And the important thing too is that it changes beat halfway through it. Like there's something, so it's not one tone the whole time.
Oh yeah.
So it's fun for people to watch.
It's got some progression. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that's what it is.
Heck yeah. All right. So the book. So this is picking up where the first book left off, and man, that is badass, dude. That's a great cover.
Thank you. Yeah. This is my Shadowpunk style, my main cover.
Right.
Because the other ones are tributes. Right.
I totally recognize the homage. This is that Hulk cover where he's being crushed by the mountain.
That's this one right there. So I tied them into the figures so that they would connect to the covers, right?
Right.
As like a thing, it's fun, and I love making it. So what are you gonna do?
Right.
And
I mean the statues turned out fucking great, man.
Thank you.
I'm really great stuff, man.
I'm really proud of it. And if I told you what I did to get here to make them, you would cry.
So, I'm sure it took a long time to get that worked out into 3D, because you actually have to build out the 3D model. You can't just take a picture from the comic and then you've got the backside of all of that just automatically. That's not how that works.
Well, probably. They took about 3 to 4 weeks of 12-hour days to do it just in 3D.
Jesus,
but when I went to that 3D printer behind me and I tried to make that print, it would crack, it would melt. And I've been doing 3D printing for a while.
Right.
So I spent quite a lot
What's up, good stuff?
Hey, what's up, good stuff? I spent a lot of time pounding my head against the wall. And I said, no matter what, I'm going to get it done.
Right.
And it's going to get done. And there's no way around it, So all of them are like that. By the way, the Death Dealer was one of the easier ones to print. I don't know why. The Cyber Frog is a total nightmare.
All those little pieces and all the detail. I'm sure it was. What's up, Jay Ryan? Counterculture you can buy off of a shelf. Well, that's what all corporate America does. But
That's right.
that's why we make indie comics, man. We are the counterculture now. Let's see
So
if
I
you
got
can.
the different covers,
Mm-hmm.
and I've probably got about 10 color pages finished, and I have about 10 more in black and white. So I've
Nice.
got a decent amount of the book accomplished. I didn't want to launch until I had a lot done,
Right.
because I feel more comfortable that way. I know that's not normal for people to do that, but
Honestly, it's becoming more of a thing because patience is I don't know, for lack of a better term, patience is kind of wearing thin, and they feel more confident to back a book, and it feels like more of a pre-order now when people have more of the book done, when they can see that there has been progression made on the book. Once bit, twice shy, as the adage goes. So people are a little more hesitant, to back something that they don't see any kind of progress on immediately.
I think there's also a thing where it's just part of the nature of the thing where the writer has to hire an artist or vice versa.
Right.
And so you can't spend a zillion bucks and do a bunch of stuff that will never make it.
Right.
So you do want to be economical. I'm not economical.
Well,
Okay.
that's because you can do it all yourself, man. You're one man armying all of this.
But artists have to go for it, and you have to do what you think is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And and so you can't, you can't have a bunch of people deciding what the next Tron movie is going to be about,
Right.
It's going to be bad. You have to be, so
There's got to be focus. They can't do this whole by committee shit. It doesn't work.
and there's a downside to doing it yourself is because you end up it consumes you. Right, Michael
Yes.
knows that. I'm sure he's
Yes.
1,000% on board
Yep.
with that logic. But that is what being an artist is about.
Oh yeah. And the pitfall of doing it all yourself is not being able to see the forest from the trees. That's why it's important to have somebody that can give you perspective, an outside perspective. Like Feline does that for me. I'll run my ideas by her, I'll show her things, and she'll point out things that I wouldn't have even seen, just because I'm so like in the trees thinking about what needs to be done. And because she doesn't have a background of reading comics her whole life like I do, she sees things that I wouldn't necessarily think of, or that this is just this is common knowledge. And well, no, not necessarily, not for everybody. So it's good to have that outside perspective when you're doing it all yourself.
Objective in a different way.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Bancroft says, yep, I'm going to have the book basically done going forward. It's just become too much of a headache. I can still stream the creation along the way. Exactly. And that involves your audience along the way as well, Michael. It's a fantastic idea, man.
It is.
The biggest and the coolest thing about crowdfunding, in my opinion, is that you get to involve the audience. But that's why we also do these streams. That's why we, have these shows. We connect with our audience. We talk to people. We keep them involved in what we're doing, and that helps them, feel more connected to it. And people are more likely to back or support somebody that they feel a connection to. They feel like they're a part of something. That was one of the initial draws to doing the crowdfunding thing. And now it's shifted a little bit. Have more of the book done ahead of time so that people are seeing progress, but at the same time you can still involve them, like Bancroft said. So it's evolving, but it's still a lot of fun, and it's becoming more of a pre-order thing.
I personally think people should do it the way they want to do it. If you do want to do 4 pages and then go for them, then that's totally equal to doing the whole thing to me. I don't really like rules per se.
Sure. I mean, indie comics is about doing it, the way you're going to do it.
And one of the other things that was funny was like after you do those first 4 pages and then you promote the book, then people want to know, well, how long will it exactly take?
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
I put a year on the first one, and it took me like just over a year.
Right.
So I don't really know how you guess that. How would somebody know unless you've done it 5 times? You
Yeah.
know?
The more you do it, the more you can judge the time it's going to take you
Um,
to make it. And that, I will say this, that is one of the good things about, putting the campaign out ahead of time. You put a deadline on yourself, so you have to get it done. Now some people thrive under that. They'll be able to knock it out, and other people, that'll just cause anxiety and they'll shut down.
yes.
So, like you said, got to do it. Got to do it the way that's going to work for you and what's going to work for your audience. You know,
The way I like to work is I do something about 80%, and then I will let it set aside. And then a week later, 2 weeks later, whatever, I'll come back and I'll look at it from a distance and go, this is like the flames around her. That evolved eventually into that. I didn't know
yeah,
that's what I was going to do. And so I'm pretty good at doing that kind of stuff, like
right.
stepping back and going, being realistic, saying this thing doesn't work, or this thing is really, if you touch it anymore, you're going to mess it up.
Right.
You know,
One stroke too many ruins the masterpiece.
And there's also a thing where, for me at least, I love color,
Right.
and I want to grab the reader with the color. I want them to have an initial like, wow, that's a kick-ass color scheme. That's really pulling me in. That's kind of my style.
Yeah.
And so
Striking. The contrast, not just with the black and white, but with the
right,
color as well. Yeah.
yeah,
There's a lot of storytelling that can be done with color.
big
So
time,
it's
big
yeah.
time.
Rick Saylor says artists need to build a backlog of books to stand on, no matter how much money each campaign makes. Absolutely, you want to turn something in that you're proud of. You do the best work that you can at that time, and that's all you can do. As long as you're putting in your 100% effort to make the book, you'll keep getting better. Uh,
Well, there's also this, as an artist, you want to make your footprint.
oh, 100%. You want to be
So
memorable,
if I make $50 on this campaign, people are going to remember it. People are
right?
gonna, and it's not for the $50.
Right.
They're gonna go one day. They're gonna go, holy shit! Some fucking guy made all that stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is a thing with, and I see it very rarely, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But once in a while, you see something made that's economical,
Right.
and that is not good. You need to go balls to the wall,
Well,
and you,
especially in this sector of
yeah,
indie comics,
yes,
because we're putting out a premium product is what it's supposed to be. It's more of a boutique item, as they say. It's not being mass produced. It's not being published by a large company. This is a one of a kind type thing that is being put out to a small audience by a single individual, or a small group of individuals, and people are paying a premium price for it, and they deserve to get a premium product. They deserve
totally.
to get something that's going to be memorable, like you said, that's going to really resonate. And I mean, the folks that back books, they are collectors, and this has to be a collector's item. It has to be something that's going to sit in their spinner rack, that they can look at and that they're going to
Mhm.
go back to time and time again. And even comes down to the tchotchkes, the extra stuff that comes along with it, like either it's bookmarks or cards or pins or what have you. It's all got to be high quality, otherwise what are people spending their money on?
Yes. Passion is what you want to see out of a product, out of a
Absolutely.
book. And I will add a caveat to what you just described.
Hmm.
If I see a book that's done by somebody who's new, and I know they're given 1,000%, but this
Right.
is only their first book, I love that. I
Hmm.
love people that do that kind of stuff, because I don't look at artwork and say that's just not good enough. I see the artist in the process, and
Hmm.
I know like that guy is going to be Eric Kennedy one day, right? And
Right.
so you can sort of see the fruits happening, the seeds and the fruits. So
Right.
I love that stuff, and I try to do it with my stuff, but I love to see it in other people's work all the time. So, and you know, a lot
Yeah.
of these guys who are pros, they've already gone through that process. They're already
Oh,
master,
yeah.
they're already master level, right? But yeah. So anyway,
Let's see. Rick says the problem is until you're somebody, most of these books don't really have a great resale value. That's true, Rick. But that doesn't mean that the creator that's making it currently can't make it something that will have resale value later. You know, it's kind of having the confidence in yourself and your ability and what you're making to put, you know, just you got to put that whole fear of failure out of your head and you just got to go for it. Like you said, balls to the wall. You know, can't let the fear of failure stop you from making the best product that you can, because if you do that, then you won't get to the point where you're somebody, and then the books won't be worth anything later. You know,
sometimes, because I think in the indie sphere, a lot of amazing ideas. I see them all the time,
mm-hmm.
and they're very inspiring to me. So one day we'll be sitting there watching TV or reading another comic book, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll look over and you'll go, I fucking remember that guy. They're making a movie out of that thing.
Yep.
And you go, and I know it's rare, but it's like, that's where these great ideas come from, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So then it's worth something, right? Then all of a sudden,
Yep.
your thing is worth a shitload of money because they're mega limited, right?
Right, and that was their first thing.
Yeah.
Getting on, like Jay Ryan says here, getting in on the ground floor has its benefits. And Rick Saylor says if they don't keep going, it'll just be a hobby. I think a prime example of what we're talking about is our boy Narwhal Per. You know, he's done his thing his way from the beginning, and now he's working. He did Vatican City, a high profile project with one of the best writers in our industry.
Yeah.
You know, and that's fucking cool, man.
Huge.
You know,
I was really impressed with him, and I love the one thing that I'll say another thing about Narwhal. Okay, and a lot of people in CG have their own unique style.
Mhm.
And when I see people that develop their own thing,
Mm-hmm.
I go, that's a whole level cool thing. Even if it doesn't sell a zillion bucks, I'm like, man, that guy is not copying somebody.
He's
He's
doing his thing his way.
and he's saying screw it, you know. And so Narwhal's
Mm-hmm.
the best example because he's so good at it. And then he does the animations.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like I do animation, but I don't do stuff like that.
Right.
And if I did it, it would look clunky. And I go, fucking shit, that guy did it, man. It fucking looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Shutting the door and running down the hallway. It's like he's got it.
Yeah. Again, doing his stories his way, and that to me is inspiring. You know, you don't let the outside pressures tell you how you have to do your thing. You know, tell the story that you mean to tell and tell it your way. And, do what you love and the money and success will follow. That's what I fully believe. And I feel like Narwhal is a perfect example of that.
He's great,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's doing what he loves and the success has followed.
Even Rini's great at that too. She has her own
Yes.
style. And I'm like, that's, she's young. I mean, I'm 55. Okay, she's young, and I'm just
Yep.
like, wow, that's amazing, man. You're probably 27 or something. I don't know, whatever she is, you know.
Right.
So it's
Yeah, I mean, starting young. Yeah, man. No, I hear you. Rick Saylor says if you're not getting into LCS's bookstores, you're not going to make it. 85% of people I talk to in LCS's will never crowdfund. Well, then that's another market to hit for sure. That's getting into bookstores is difficult. Getting into your local comic shop can be easier if you go to your comic shop and you build a rapport with your LCS. I mean, back in the fucking 80s, that's the only way indie books were put out, aside from going to conventions.
yes.
They had to talk to people. They had to call comic shops and be like, "Hey, I have this book. I can send you some comp copies to check out. And if you like it, you work out a deal, and then you call them each and every month or whenever you've got a new book coming out to sell more copies. And you got to make it a sweet deal for the LCS because they got to make money off of the book as well. And speaking as somebody who worked in my LCS for 7 years, those profit margins are razor fucking thin,
Totally.
and they're only getting thinner, it seems. So it is. It's a hard thing to do, but getting your book out there for more people to see. That's why conventions are so important. That's why doing this is so important. You know, talking to people, getting the word out there. You could have the best book in the world, but if nobody knows about it, you know, like Rick said, you ain't gonna make it.
Right, right.
You know.
Yes, it is a big deal. A lot of people are artist types where we are I mean, I guess I'm not really like this, but I'm not really a YouTube person,
Right.
right? I mean,
Not everybody is.
but it's so helpful that other people are,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so everybody has their own skills they can use, and some people are just great at it, you know, and you know, they're just, you know, they're affable people and they love to talk. I guess I'm kind of like that, but you know, when you do your own book, you
Mm-hmm.
are like all day, all night. You
Right.
know, so you're like, well, when am I ever gonna do that? You know, and obviously Bancroft has solved that problem.
Right.
But
He's got a method going, and he's doing it good. He's
yeah,
yeah. Don't tell him I said this or anything, but he's kind of an inspiration to you know,
totally.
work hard and get that shit done. You know, build an audience, build that channel, and keep doing the books.
The other thing that I love that he does is when he does the art share shows, and he shows they find crazy stuff on Instagram that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy insane. Like to
Yeah.
me, that is very helpful because it's easy to be stuck in a little box when you're
Oh
working on
yeah.
something. And when I see that, I'm like, man, I have to go farther. I have to. So how much farther can I go? You know, and so
Yes.
you need that barometer in front of you.
Well, I mean, artists, like back in, you know, antiquity, they would gather together and they would talk about the craft. You know, even back in like the Victorian era, like artists need other artists to bounce ideas off of. You know, steel sharpens steel. You know, good artists hanging out together, that makes them better. I mean, that's why bullpens were such a great thing back in the day.
Good
You
point.
know, and that's we have the modern day equivalent. You know, you can get in Discord and do, like, you know, group chats and stuff, and, you know, showing people things, ask your artist friends. You know, it's fucking great, man. So yeah, artists need other artists to be inspired and to get, you know, feedback, perspective on what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, existing in a bubble doesn't do you any good. You know,
Right.
you gotta have that outside influence. You gotta, you know, you gotta pick up things. You gotta talk to people. You know, get that outside perspective, like I was saying. Rick says basically you will not make money from LCS, but readers and fans will turn you into a Polito. And yes, I've talked about Polito often. His model is fantastic. You know, he started doing Kickstarter. God, he was one of the early ones to start doing Kickstarter and crowdfunding comics over there, and he made enough to basically restart his comic company. He had Coffin Comics that was only for prestige stuff, and then he just basically turned that into a brand new Chaos Comics. And he's rebuilt like an empire with it. And now he's doing his own website. And I do think that websites are going to be the way forward for artists.
Really? Okay.
You know, yeah. I think people will still use crowdfunding websites like Fund My Comic, which I absolutely love. I'm so proud of the work that Luke Stone has done, because not everybody can afford to do a website. You know, start doing stuff on crowdfunding campaigns.
Totally, yeah.
Because it casts a wider net. It gets the word out there for books to people that may not have seen it otherwise. But as you build your notoriety and as you build your audience, have your website, have people come to your website, have exclusives on your website, you know, do different versions that are the crowdfunding ones, because again, people are collectors, you know, comic nerds, especially ones that really love this shit. They're collectors. Give them an opportunity to collect something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Give them exclusives. People love feeling like they got something nobody else can get. You know, there's a bit of psychology in all of this stuff as well.
Yes, totally.
What's up, Bats? Good to see you, man. Welcome. Rushbrook says, that's why I love Topicless. Artists talking with other artists, even if it does get crazy. Yeah, we get a little blue on Topicless, but we have fun. Oh, heck yeah.
So that's the she's
that fucking Sam Keith Wolverine, dude. I love it.
You're never gonna find anything like this, right?
No.
Fuck no. That's kind of, I did it because it's the gnarliest Wolverine I could find.
Totally.
He's ready to pounce. right?
Yeah, dude, that is so fucking cool. And you nailed Sam Keith's style with that too.
Yeah.
Totally nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But so that is a tribute to that cover right there. Right?
Yeah.
So
I totally picked up on that. The tribute covers that you did on this campaign really like bring the essence of the cover that you're paying homage to. I very much like the covers that you got going on, man. They're great.
there we go. Thank you.
And then there's the Cyberfrog on the chopper.
Yep.
Man, that is gnarly. There's all kinds of detail on that. Holy shit, man.
So when you print that thing,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if you know anything about printing. People in the chat know. So you have a bunch of supports around.
Yeah.
You have to rip them off,
Yep.
and it leaves tiny little bumps. So on that Cyberfrog, I would spend at least 12 hours getting those things off. And it's like, you know,
Jesus, dude.
once you do it, you're like, it's like gold. You go,
Right.
okay, I got it. I'm gonna put it in a glass case somewhere, right? It's
Right.
never gonna
Don't
cut.
drop it. Don't snap any of these little pieces off.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And
Holy
my
shit.
hope is that somebody who's a big Cyberfrog fan wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Man,
know.
that would be a centerpiece of any collection, man. And then you got shirts as well.
Yep. Punk
Oh,
Flow.
dude, I love shirts. And you designed these shirts yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to do t-shirts, graphic design t-shirts for a company here in town called
Yeah.
Sports Corner.
That's
I never got to do anything cool like this. It was all like, you know, sports teams, local high school teams and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's how you learn, though. That's how you
Yep.
go. You composition and how to cut and make it sharp, right?
Mhm.
So the day that you do DeathMetalHero, whoosh, it's
Yeah. See, I've got shirts on my website, but they're direct to garment printing, so it's a little different. You can just put whatever you want out now, but like the fun of setting up like an actual screen and doing the ink and then baking it and then
cool.
doing another layer and baking it. But like there's a fucking art form to screen printing your own t-shirts, and I fucking love it.
That's silkscreen.
Yep, silk screen. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that, man. I remember that was the thing, right? Back in the
Mhm.
day, everybody loved doing that.
I mean, they silk screen posters as well. You know, they get they roll out the big like cotton sheets of basically linen posters, and then they silk screen you know the image on there. Get some of them fucking trippy blacklight posters that way.
Yeah, Rick says he wears the SHADOWPUNK shirt all the time. That's really cool, Rick.
Heck
Thank
yeah,
you.
man.
Another person, Telepathic Bunny, he's
Mhm.
often wearing his in his things, and I noticed one day it's all beaten up now because he wears it so much.
Right? I mean, and that's how you can tell when somebody loves the merch because, you know, it gets faded. Like, I mean, this Amon Amarth shirt that I'm wearing right here. I mean, the screen printing on this is like starting to crack.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's how it goes, man.
Yep.
So the Frazetta. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to read off Rick's comment here. Go on all websites. If anyone tells you not to try Kickstarter or GoFundMe or IGG, they're not your friends because they want you to be poor. Yeah, man. Go wherever you can get your book out there because you never know what audience might be there. I will say this. It seems like Kickstarter has a wider net because more people crowdfund on Kickstarter. GoFundMe is great because it is just for comics and magazines and board games. Indiegogo, we'll see what happens with Indiegogo. They've been taken over by new management, and they may or may not be a great place to do that now. But yeah, go wherever you can and find the audience. You know, whatever is financially viable for you, do it.
Do it.
Yes, we did talk about screen printing stuff. Yeah, Phelan and I got all kinds of plans for stuff that we go and do.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll be at Heroes Con next year with all kinds of goodies. But
I love the things that she makes for those. Well, she does all the jewelry stuff, but she does those clever fold up things so you can put your comic books in.
Oh yeah, the comic stands.
Stands.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
that's right. Yeah, they're really, you know, it's almost like a perfect thing that you need, right?
Well, Michael Rushbrook actually got 4 of these, and he takes them with him to conventions to put his books in to promote them.
Of course.
You know, because they stand up perfectly on the table, and they break down really easily. So
a good idea is a good idea, and
Yes,
you
indeed.
go, you know what I mean? And that's it right there. So
yeah, and so we've got other colors as well.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have those at the convention. We're doing all kinds of stuff. We're gonna have wider ones for magazine size as well. Get some sturdier ones for CGC books, because you know people love the CGC books. So yeah, there's more stuff coming with that as well. But this is what I love about this indie scene, man. You know, there's a wealth of talent and ability and storytelling and just ideas. You know, this is where the good ideas are made, and in my opinion, that's how it's always been for this industry. You know, you have the mainstream doing stuff, and you know, people love the mainstream. You know, they're the heroes and the big two and whatnot. But then the indie scene is where the new ideas get birthed. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's where it's the indie scene is what pushes the industry forward. Look at like the underground comics of the fucking 60s, right? You know, Art Crumb and, you know, Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, Gilbert Shelton, like, you know, those kind of comics kind of pushed the envelope for what could be done with comics. And then, you know, that influenced Mobius, you know, and heavy metal and all that, like Blueberry, and that influenced, you know, the artists coming up in the 80s. And, you know, the Image dudes, they were influenced by John Byrne and, you know, Barry Windsor Smith and, you know, Art Adams and whatnot, who were influenced by, you know, Mobius and stuff like that. It's you know, it's a constant progression. You know, the mainstream is always looking at what the indies are doing, because people get excited about what's in these because it's new, it's different, it's kitschy, it's not something that they've seen before, because we've got to do something to stand out over here, right? We've got to do something to make people notice.
It's, you know, it's pretty tough because that is what you have to do, and that's why I try to make my campaign unique. But there is a factor involved where you know, if you are a big personality, it doesn't hurt, right? And so it's life is like that. It's just everybody has their own things, you know. And then the other thing I was gonna say that's funny about the whole stand thing that Feline made is that, you know, I do 3D, the complexity it takes to make one of those 3D figures, or to even make a comic book, which is huge, right? I would look at that stand and I would go, "Whoa, that's okay." You know, like my mind doesn't do that. It just doesn't think in the same ways, you know. So it's like, and then you put it together, it folds together, like, you know. I'm like, oh, that's great.
Yep, it comes apart and then just lays flat. Yeah, it's a fairly simple design, but man, they work, and once they're together, they're super sturdy. You know, so
they look like it. They look like it for sure.
Yeah, they're fucking awesome, man. But yeah, Feline's saying if you're interested in a custom comic stand, you can DM me or her, and yeah, you can get your logo on there. We got a bunch. She's got a bunch of different colors. So yeah, you know, helping people out, because, you know, sometimes one of the biggest things now that leads me to a question, actually. Are you doing conventions? Are you going to be doing conventions anytime?
Possibly. I didn't. I was gonna after the first book, but I figured I needed more to go to a convention and do that.
Sure.
So now that I have another book and then that'll be done, then I might do that at that point.
Okay.
But it's a new territory for me. So
Right.
Everything is, by the way. So, you know, going to a convention is going to be like, you know, going out into the Norwegian wilderness and getting grizzly bear, you know, like that, like Bjorn from the movie, you know.
Yep, it's a risk, man. But this, like Rick Saylor was saying, there are people that, you know, they only go to the comic shops, or they only go to conventions and the comic shop. They don't have any clue about the crowdfunding scene.
Yes, totally.
You know, so it's a way to get more people interested in your book.
She's 100% right.
Yeah. And, you know, go into a convention, you get out there, and, you know, new people see your book and they're like, oh, this is cool, you know, and they see, like, people at conventions would absolutely love these statues that you're making, these 3D prints, And if you got 3D prints of your characters as well, like even like little hero click size, because people love
that physical thing.
they do. They love having that little thing, and
Yeah.
especially something they can put on their shelf and enjoy and look at. I mean, look at the shit behind me, man. I got my
Right.
Lady Death statue. I've got my 3D printed piece from Exiled from
yeah.
Adam Lawson.
That was really good. I remember seeing
Yeah.
that.
So I'm a fucking geek. I'm a collector. I love this stuff. And there are so many people out there just like me that want to represent their favorite, memorabilia. They want to represent with merch. So, give them the opportunity. I love the fact that you got t-shirts, man. I'm a big fan of t-shirts.
Right.
And I absolutely don't need more t-shirts, but I absolutely do need more t-shirts. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
That Frazetta Conan was a lot of fun to make.
I bet, dude.
And he is I said, what's the coolest fucking thing I can make? What's the coolest thing you can't buy in a store? And so that was one of the things I came up with. There's no way I can sell them because I think that they would come hard down on me.
Right.
But out of respect, that's why I'm giving it away for free.
Yes.
It's a bizarre thing to make because the anatomy, when you get into it, is not normal dude anatomy. And,
no, it's epic Frazetta anatomy.
And the proportions are just slightly off, right? And it works exactly for the angle that he painted it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But
for
you're like,
sure.
When you have to go around the back, you're going to have to figure this out.
Actually make it work in a 3D space. It's a little different.
So it was a lot of fun to make. And I think I said this the other night, but I was going to just have these unpainted like the one you just showed. And so one day I'm like, well, what happens if I paint it? So I painted, I have a technique. And so I kind of did this metallic bronze technique.
Yeah.
And I'm like, son of a bitch. It's fucking great.
And it's really happy with the way this turned out.
They're all going to have to be painted now.
Yeah.
And so then finally I put a polyurethane coat on top of it so that it's sealed.
Dude, it looks like bronze.
Does.
I mean, seriously. You could almost like try to pitch making these for, Frazetta girls. Because I know that they just did a Conan figure, but I mean, having a fucking badass statue like this, I don't know, man.
I mean, everybody's kind of a Frazetta fan. So
yeah.
I'm sure
it's the grandfather of our medium, man.
Rick says I tried to buy one off Shadow years ago, and he said, "F off, bum." I never said that. I don't even know what he's talking about.
He wasn't sure if it was legally, if it was safe. I mean, if it's a one-off thing and it's more like a, I don't know, kind of a commission. If you make something like that and somebody really wants to buy it, you're not mass producing them, to sell.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of a gray area. It's like artists doing prints of characters they don't own.
It is like, I mean, doing commissions of Batman, you don't own Batman.
No, but you can do a commission of it because it's a one-off thing,
Yeah, I mean, listen, if we lived in a different world, I would send that to Rick.
Right.
See, Rick, I would do it's yours, dude.
Hey man, Rick, if you want to send him like a donation of, like $100 or something like that, and just, take care of your boy, Eric is asking if we can see some interior pages. I do believe there have been interior pages interspersed in between these images.
Yes, there you go.
So we got this one here. Oh, it's a badass Judge Dredd. All right, and these are the 3D sculpts with Rorschach and Daryl Dixon. All right, we're going to scroll back up so Eric can see the interior pages.
I can describe the story a little bit too.
Okay,
if it helps Eric. So I don't know if Eric read the first book. I can't remember if he got it. But so in the first, in the second story, she's gonna go. She has a backpack that is like a power generator that lets her levitate, and then the wings help her move around, like orientate, right? So that is also a power supply, And that guy right there who's dressed in red runs the city. And he
Ah,
needs
okay.
the power supply. And so he recruits this girl who looks kind of butchy. He recruits her to get it. And
Ah, okay.
so the pictures that you're seeing later where they're surrounded by fire is she's going to go into the evil part, the center of the city that's kind of like hell. And that's why that dog is in front of the door, right? That
Ah,
door with
okay.
3 heads. So
Yeah.
she's got to go down in there and get that backpack at all costs. And so the problem is they know that she's coming.
Right. And so they're ready for her. They're
They're
waiting.
ready for her. And so there's a big payoff at the end of the book that I hope that it touches people. It's important. Probably the biggest theme in the book is the relationship with her and her father, who's not going to make it much longer. At the end of the first book, you sort of, it's hard to talk about because it's a cliffhanger and
Right.
it's a whammy when you read it. It's like,
Okay.
wow, holy Toledo, there's something big here.
Right.
So,
Yeah, don't spoil the ending, but I think you set up a good understanding of what this story is about. Yeah, that sounds epic, and it sounds like it's going to be a harrowing adventure for her.
yes, I really want people when they read the book, like the first issue and this one, to really relate to her
Mm-hmm.
because the story is really about her journey and it's about her relationship with her father. Um, and I think it's pretty good. I can't tell people what they should or shouldn't think because some
Right.
people love that and some people like this, but I think I did a good job.
Well, Rick Saylor is saying, I 100% recommend backing this book. If you missed number one, back the catch-up
Thank
tier
you.
for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. So see, there you go. And Rick reads a lot of books, and that's a hell of a stamp of approval from
Yeah, I
somebody
appreciate
that
that.
has been knee deep in all this stuff for a while. So it's a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, it's you know what? It's a lot of fun to make a book. It's
Mm-hmm.
like to write a book and to get to do. And when you're done, you hold the thing in your hand that took you a year to make,
Right.
and it's like just that one book, right? It's like this is like everything's in here. It's like really
Mm-hmm.
okay, but it is.
A year of your life.
It is.
Yeah. But you did it. You did it. You did it yourself, and you did it your way.
Yeah.
And now you've got something in your hands that you'll be able to sell for in perpetuity. Do different versions of the cover. You can do new printings. Hell, this is something that you can now like you were saying, take to conventions.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about conventions too is that it is a community, right? Where you can interact with people face to face as opposed to on Twitter,
Right.
which is cool too. But it's like, I've never seen people walk and talk. It's like all of a sudden you realize, Shadowpunk is 5'7".
Right.
He looks like the guy I met at the grocery store the other day.
Right. So
So
this is and I can confirm that going to a convention, going to Heroes Con, getting to meet all of these people that I've seen on streams and talked to on social media, it's fucking cool, man.
yeah,
It is really cool. And I at Heroes Con, I walked into the convention with my mohawk up, on Saturday. Had to do it for the Saturday. Saturday is always the biggest day at the show, so I had to walk in full bore hawk up, and yeah, it was a good time, man.
cool.
I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised. Maybe start with smaller conventions nearby to get a taste for them, get your feet wet, figure out how you want to set up your table, how you want to set things up, get used to talking to people, because the biggest thing about doing this indie comics thing, especially going to conventions, is you're selling yourself as well as the book that you made.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
I mean that's true for being on live streams and selling it. It's for doing this you have to be able to sell yourself as well, but even more so in person. It's you got to be personable. You got to be able to talk to people.
last year, I think it was, I went to the Atlanta Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't been to a Comic Con in a long time, and so I went to that one. I visited my friend that lives there, and that's where I originally got the idea. Daryl Dixon was there,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, it started clicking for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, look at these people love this stuff. Like you
Yeah.
said, people, I picked up on that pretty quick, and I was like, wow, I should do that for my campaign.
Mm-hmm.
And I I think a logical person, like if you said that, Feline might go, that might not be a good idea, dude. That's going to take you a whole year to make those things, right? And
Right.
is it going to be worth it to do it? And you're like, I'm doing it, So, and that's how I was. I was just excited to make them and stuff, and
Right.
so
I mean, they turn out great, man.
thank you.
And it they're also portfolio pieces.
That is true.
You make them and they show the quality of the work that you can do because you're not skimping on, oh, I got to get this done quickly just because I need to get it done. You're doing it because you love making them, and it shows the quality of what you're making. So people are like, yo, can you do that for my character? I've got turnarounds. Can you do this for me? So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's how you get commissions, man.
Here's the conundrum I ran into with Comicsgate and commissions. Is that something that takes me 3 or 4 weeks to make
Mm-hmm.
has to pay for itself.
Yes, I
And
agree.
so these guys logically most of them have small budgets because they're getting their thing going,
Right,
right? Logically. So they don't have $2,000 to pay me
right,
just to do the 3D,
right.
not the 3D printing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it becomes like this thing where I want to really do it because I love doing it.
Right.
And so I'm like, it's going to take me so long,
Mm-hmm.
and so I need to make money somehow, So
Oh
that
yeah,
is a conundrum.
it
So
is. I mean, the same is true for making a book.
yeah,
It's gotta pay for itself. I mean, yes,
right,
we do this because we love doing this, but at the same time, you got to pay your bills. You
right.
got to be able to eat. You got to be able to pay for the production costs and whatnot. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, catch 22, whatever adage you want to use.
Yes,
But Rick is correct. People will gravitate towards creative people doing dope shit. Yes, they
they
do.
will. They
Yep.
will. And that's one of the reasons I made the statues is because it's a unique skill set.
Hmm.
And I think it's gonna have a way of making people get eyes on my campaign. Uh,
Yeah.
Before you realize you're gonna flub the campaign by doing it wrong, right? With this fun, I didn't predict that, right?
Right.
200 people show up in on the show last night, and nobody is allowed to back it, right? I'm like, holy crap, man! There's
Well, I
always
mean, you learn from that. It's okay. You'll get there. You'll get there.
I'll get there, but
Yeah.
so anyway, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
these statues are fantastic, man.
thank you.
You absolutely have a knack for it, and the bronzing technique that you've got is just fucking awesome.
So just so as weird as it sounds, it's all
Hmm.
done with a brush. There's
Wow,
no spray paint. As a matter of fact,
wow,
spray paint got in the way. Came up with a way to paint it. Like for example, I could paint it all black first and get it to be super smooth.
right,
And I came up with a way to do that over messing ones up over the years. And so now, because what you don't want to do is glob a bunch of paint on and make it
right.
thick. And so the idea is to put as little paint on as you have to.
Oh yeah, you get a thin coat on there, but an even coat, so it's
Even
smooth.
coat. And
Yep.
so I figured out a way to do it, and it's one of those things where you kind of like. I mean, most of them are sitting next to me right here.
Right.
Some of them they're in box, like the Cyber Frog is in the box
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. The Death Dealer, I'm going to put it back in the box after
Right.
this. So, but
Yeah,
they're fun
because
to
I mean,
look
you
at.
don't want to accidentally knock it off of the thing and break it.
So when I did videos where I said, "Hey, this is what it is," or
Hmm.
whatever. So when I'm walking through the house, I'm walking like this, with the thing,
Right.
like get it back to the box,
Yep.
right?
Being very careful.
Yeah, and very neurotic about the whole thing,
Well, I mean, yes, you could always print another one, but that takes time, that takes resources,
Yeah.
and you can't. It's not like you can recycle that plastic and put it back in to the 3D printer. So,
And unfortunately, you learn the hard way,
mm,
and so I've done that, and so now you're like, dude, you have to be like a robot,
right,
just because it's easy to go to start thinking about other things while you're walking through the house or something,
sure,
right? That thing you want to do, whatever, the food you want to eat. So all of
right.
a sudden you're like winging it in your
Going around the corner and
hey,
just like snap off like a hand or an arm or something like that. Just not paying
totally,
attention.
totally, yeah.
Yeah.
So
This the campaign looks awesome, man. The book looks awesome. The
thank
statues
you,
look awesome. I fucking love the shirts as well.
thank you.
I really dig this shirt here. There's something about like just a single like just the black and white, like the contrast of it that I love. That very graphic quality. I mean, not to say that this isn't badass as well. I love the logo, but I love the sheer graphic quality of this one up here.
Thank you. That's exactly why I made them that way.
Mm,
I like that too.
yeah.
And I already have a color one, so I thought it'd be fun to do a couple different black and white ones.
Absolutely, and it also kind of reminds me of like old school like punk shirts because they just did them in black and white. Like hell, old school punk album covers were just black and white because they didn't want to pay for
Yes.
color. You
Yes.
know, yep. So
Yeah.
that's what it puts me in the mind of, and I fucking love it, dude.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, man. It's great looking campaign. I'm really excited for people to get a hold of this. There's the dog he was talking about. Man,
Yes.
that is a gnarly looking pooch.
So there is a theme in the story about transhumanism,
Hmm.
about what they're mangling people. They're not
Right,
really, and so they do that to that girl who's in the red right there. They
right.
turn her, and she doesn't. She's not really a girl anymore. Obviously, she's more of a whatever. But
Well, the whole humanist movement, like
yeah,
human and machine, yeah. No, I get it, and that's a wonderful theme to work into a dystopian story because it's not just dystopian of society and the world at large. It's also dystopian of the human body and soul.
right, right.
It's multiple layers and multiple levels. It's and what when you have a story like this, the question becomes what makes people still be human. How do they maintain humanity? Can they maintain their
It
humanity?
is so the concept is that what you described,
Hmm.
but as she's fighting to do the thing she needs to do, I wanted that to be in the background as a thing against her, right? That
Right.
you wouldn't, so like it's a quality of everything that's bad, right? That it's
Yeah.
being mangled, and so yeah, so
That's cool, man. And it sounds like you've got a really good human core to the story. And
the
I
mo-
think people are really going to dig
I
it.
think that honestly, I think that's the most important part of any story.
I mean, you got to like the characters. You got to want to go on this adventure with them, right?
Yes,
You
yes, you
know.
have to relate to them.
What's
You
up, Billy?
care about
Good to
what's
see you, man.
up.
Yeah, you
Thank
gotta
you.
relate to them. Like why would you okay, if you didn't like the characters of like Frodo and Samwise, would you really want to go on that epic 3-book
Right.
adventure with them? If you didn't care about Aragorn, would you care about what he was doing or why he was struggling, why he was fighting?
And
You know?
it's storytelling wise, that's a great thing because if it was just Frodo,
Mhm.
he'd be he wouldn't be as dimensional without Samwise there.
Mhm.
He adds so now you really sympathize with them
Yes.
because they're very rounded out. And so like if Merry and Pippin obviously are not nearly as developed as those two characters.
Right.
And they are, but not to that degree because they're not suffering with them. So
Right.
I see a lot of books and when I did my book, I sat down and said, how do I make people relate to her? and that's the number one thing I can do. And so that really was my priority, and everything else was secondary. So
Yeah. I think it's a great way to approach it,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah.
Quickly take a look at the tiers. If you want all the covers, you can get them for $75. All 3 variant covers of issue 2
Yep.
at the discounted price, and pay shipping for only 1 book. This tier also earns you 6 entries into. Holy shit! Damn. So if you really want to win one of those statues, that's the tier to get right there.
Right.
And then pick a cover, any cover, which one you like. The catch-up tier. Now, if you guys missed out on the first campaign, this is the tier you want to get right here. Get both issues 1 and 2, and I'm guessing these are both the main covers.
No, you can pick whatever cover of them that you want.
Look at that. You can pick which covers you want. Excellent.
Of course.
But yeah, if you need to catch up, that's the bundle to get. You can still get a copy of issue 1 as well.
Just in case.
Just issue 1. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. And there's the t-shirts. I like the simplicity of the campaign. I gotta be honest. I like how straightforward it is, because sometimes campaigns can get a little lost in the weeds with a bunch of different tiers, and then you have that choice paralysis. And then sometimes people just end up not getting anything because they want to make sure that they get the best thing. And if there's too many choices, then they just decide, well, it's not worth putting up with the stress. And then
and part of it too is that if I had a $800,000 campaign, I would do more stuff, right? I mean, right. I would be Eric EVS or Eric July or somebody huge, right?
Right.
So that I'm not that. So this is what I'm going to do, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, and you can always build, you can always do more things. I mean, and if you got some ideas that you weren't able to execute on the campaign, you could always maybe get them worked up and take a few limited versions of it to shows. To have like convention exclusives. People love that shit, man. Yep. Billy says the logo is Liquid Hot Magma. Loves the logo, man.
I really I don't know if you pick up on it. The logo around her head is a little bit like a saint.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right? Kind of like a little halo.
And so without her there, it's a graphic version of her head.
Right.
So I appreciate that Billy likes the logo. I like it too. Thank you.
But Billy does some fantastic logos himself, so he's got a good eye for that. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he does. Cool. And then Rick says do some ash cans.
Ash cans meaning stuff I didn't use.
Well, ash cans meaning like smaller versions that are cheaper to print, and then you could also have, because an ash can traditionally was they'd taken an 8.5 by 11 piece of photocopy paper, fold it in half, and that would be the size of a small little ash can comic. And cool. Then take those to conventions, sell them for a cheaper price.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Pete Samedi does newsprint printing, and he does ash cans. Yes. He's doing small print runs, so they can be limited. Again, that exclusivity, man. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right.
Yeah. Again, there's a lot of psychology that goes into making things that people want, and it's up to us to figure out how we can present a good quality product and give people that feeling that they got something cool and exclusive and fun for the money that they plunked down. It's about respecting the customers, their time, and their money, man.
Big time is, and on the first issue. And on this issue, every single backer is super important. And to be honest with you, I think that the statues that I made to give those to people really indicates that.
I think so.
Yeah, I really want them to really love it and love the work I do.
Yeah, it shows in the quality of the sculpts on those statues. It really shows that you actually care about what you're doing.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, well, we've been going for about an hour and a half here. Is there one last question? When are you looking to fulfill this book?
On the website, I put June 26th.
Oh yeah, I can see it right here. Estimated shipping June 30th, 2026.
Yeah,
Okay.
it really is vague. I'm hoping to get it done before then.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what is it? How many issues of this do you see making? Like, is this just an ongoing?
no, right now this story arc is 3.
Okay.
And then at that point I would go, do I want to do another story arc, or do I want to do something totally different?
Right.
Right? And I'd have no idea. I would, it'd be fun to do something different, but I really the way I draw her in her
hmm
armor, I I've gotten it down really sharp,
Right.
and I enjoy doing it. So, there's always that dilemma where you're like,
Right.
you love doing it. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you spend so much time with this character and in this world, and and having fun with it is important, because when the person creating it, whether it's a single person or a creative team, if they're having fun with what they are making, it shines through in what they create.
Yeah, it
And
really does.
it shows that you're having fun doing what you're doing, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So thank you guys so much for coming to hang out. Matt, thank you so much, man. This has been a blast.
Cool.
Really enjoyed our conversation, and you're welcome to come back anytime you want to promote a book, man. This is fun.
Thank you.
I love geeky conversations.
Honestly, we could have talked without the comic book. We could have talked all night.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was one of my favorite things about working in the comic shop is having these nerdy conversations. So thank you for coming on and nerding out with me, man. This has been a fucking blast.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Please go hit this link that Feline just dropped. Go back this awesome book and support this awesome indie creator, man. This is how we get more cool shit. So we can't do this without you. We thank you all so much for being here. And let me go ahead and fix this. So we appreciate you being here. And look at that. Look at that. So go get that featured tier so you get 6 entries so you can get that Death Dealer. Don't let Bancroft get that without a fight.
That's right.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And remember,
Shop smart, shop S-Smart.